Tigers and the Indians coming up next. Stay with us right here on Sports Channel.
You know us. We're Stop & Shop Supermarkets, Cleveland's favorite grocery store. And do you know what makes Stop & Shop Supermarkets so good? It's our exclusive Preferred Shoppers Club card. Weekly newspaper ads and colorful circulars filled with tremendous savings. Eye-catching in-store signage featuring weekly specials and instant checkout coupons for extra savings on your next visit. So now that you really know us, you can always count on us. Stop & Shop Supermarkets, where freshness, quality, and savings never stop.
Good song. Great song.
You can make mountains ring. Oh, maybe.
Discover the defensive training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting videotape. Baseball World's Defensive Drills video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same revolutionary new training techniques that have produced Baseball World's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. The Defensive Drills video vastly improves players' arm strength, running speed, quickness, agility, and infield and outfield defensive skills. Even coaches practice organization. Lou Pavlovich Jr., editor of Collegiate Baseball magazine, calls it a masterpiece, the best defensive drill video ever produced. Many professional players are excited about this videotape. Just ask Atlanta Braves superstar Fred McGriff.
This is the instructional video that gets results.
Baseball World's Defensive Drills video makes a great gift and benefits players of all ages and ability levels. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free. Phone 1-800-888-1610. That's 1-800-888-1610.
It really worked for me.
Welcome back to Jacobs Field. The Tigers are 16-22. They'll face Charles Nagy here this afternoon. Charles is 5-3 in his career against Detroit. He was 3-0 against them last year. Sparky Anderson has his lineup in place. As a matter of fact, as his leadoff batter steps in, it's Chad Curtis, to be followed by the veteran Lou Whitaker. Travis Fryman in the 3 spot, followed by cleanup hitter Cecil Fielder. Kirk Gibson bats 5th. He's the DH. Alan Trammell in the lineup at shortstop. Bob Higginson having a good rookie season in left field. Danny Bautista in right. Batting 9th is the catcher, John Flaherty. Against Charles Nagy, here is Chad Curtis. He's 0 for 7 with an RBI in this series. And the first pitch is a called strike 1.
Well, Charlie, on the year, he has a record of 3-2 and a 3.61 earned run average. And Charlie, 42 in the 3rd innings, giving up 39 hits, struck out 32.
Charlie was the pitcher and the Indians' only loss on this homestand. There's a good breaking ball for strike 2.
Yeah, but that game was a little deceiving. That was a game they were shut out, and if you recall back in the 1st inning, it looked like he had Paul Molitor struck out on the 3-2 pitch, and they ended up scoring 3 runs. So I didn't think he threw the ball that bad.
The 0-2. A comebacker. That's the way the ball game begins on a very pleasant night here in Cleveland. A little bit muggy. Let's set the defense.
In left field is going to be Albert Bell, Kenny Lofton, and Manny Ramirez. And right on the infield, left side is Tommy Espinosa getting the start tonight. On the right side will be Baerga and Murray, and Tony Pena doing the catching.
Chad Curtis bounces out to start the ball game. Lou Whitaker pulls the bat back, and Nagy is ahead again. It's no balls, 1 strike. Whitaker hitting .347. He's been swinging a very good bat for these Tigers. Of course, he's among the leaders on almost every Tiger offensive category that you can think of. Called strike 2. The Bryant heating and cooling weather, Rick.
81 degrees, nice warm muggy night here. Winds northeast 5 to 10. Sky's mostly clear and the rain should hold off. It looks very nice down here now.
We certainly hope so. 0-2 the count. Charles Nagy, at least to the first 2 batters, Rick, is not messing around.
Oh, he's had pinpoint control.
That's pulled foul, passed first.
I think that's one of the things that he had a tough time spotting his fastball last time. He had the good slider, if you recall, but when Charlie goes at the hitters with that good fastball and gets ahead of them in the count, then he can go with that split finger.
Set the umpires for the ball game tonight. We'll do that in just a moment as Nagy gets ready. Charlie working quickly, and he was ready quicker than usual tonight. Game started exactly on time. Going the other way is Whitaker. That's a base hit into the corner. Bell will have to track it down. Whitaker around first. He's headed for a 2-base hit with 1 out.
Very nice piece of hitting here by Whitaker. Pena going inside for that breaking ball, but it stays on the outer part of the plate. Does not try to pull it. Just goes the other way with it. Hey, you tip your hat right there. Lou Whitaker's 8th double of the season.
And he is one of the Tigers having a good road trip. He's now 11 for 30 on this road trip. I mentioned the Tigers. This is a long trip. 13 games. This is game 9 of 13, and they are 2-6 coming into tonight.
When they left Detroit, each of them had a couple suitcases instead of one.
Home plate umpire tonight is Drew Coble. He'll call the balls and strikes. Durwood Merrill at first, Ted Hendry at second, and Chuck Merriweather down at third. The Indians will go to Milwaukee for 4 and then come right back for another 9 at home. It was June that turned the Indians season around a year ago. This one doesn't need a lot of turning around. They're off to their best start ever, matching what they did in '66. The disclaimer you have to put on '66 is what happened after that 26 and 10 start. It was not pretty after that. The team went 55-71 and got a manager fired.
Well, got a lot of talent right here, and I think they're going to continue the way they have been playing.
Fryman only 5 for 34 at this point on the Tigers' 13-game road trip, but a good slider is in for strike 2. 0-2 on the first 3 batters.
Well, Travis Fryman has struggled this year. He's only hitting .215, and normally he hits for a much better average, and his home run production is down. His RBI production is down.
Nagy 44 and 45 in his career. Got him on a good breaking ball. Charles gets his first strikeout. Now we'll face the big man, Cecil Fielder. Detroit on the road is 9-13 this year. The Indians, as we talked about on Indians lineup and on the pregame show, are 14-4 at home, and Sparky knows how tough the Indians can be. He was quoted in the papers today as saying, yeah, I predicted this a couple of years ago. He talked about it in spring training. He talked about it on our trip a month ago into Detroit.
The last 2 years, the Tigers are only 1-8 right here at Jacobs Field. So they have had their problems here. It's not so much that they've had problems, it's that the Indians have played so well.
The Indians 8-1 on the homestand. Cecil Fielder in his career off Charles Nagy. You can see 1 homer. Runner at second is Whitaker. He doubled. Again, working that slider on the inside part of the plate. Cecil Fielder pulls out of there, but it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he started him out with a fastball running in on the hands. Then he starts the breaking ball on the inside part, and you see Cecil gives up on it, because what they've done this series is they've stayed inside on him, pounded him hard and in, and they don't want him to extend the arms, and that's the way you have to pitch Cecil.
Cecil had hit in 6 straight until he came in here, and that one is just off the plate inside with a fastball that time.
Well, when you go in there, if you miss off the plate. You don't want to miss out over the plate, because he will make you pay. He does have 13 home runs this year, but his average only .214. But you don't want to make a mistake.
He and Mo Vaughn are the co-leaders in the American League for home runs. It's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You talk about hitting home runs. Cecil Fielder is as good as anybody in home runs per at-bats. He is right up there with the all-time active leaders. You see Mark McGwire, of course, but Cecil is second. The count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's 3-2, and that one just barely missed also.
And I think Charlie knows that's the same thing that happened to him in his last start. He makes the pitch. He got at the pitch before, comes right back with the same pitch, does not get the call.
That looked like it caught more of the plate than the previous pitch.
Well, when you're out there, all you ask for is consistency by the umpires. If they're going to give it to you one time, you expect it the next time.
Comes back away, and he tries to pull it. Hits it on the ground to Espinosa. A double but no damage. We'll meet the Indians starting 9 when we come back.
A new season has begun on Sports Channel.
Tigers had a one-out double from Whitaker, did not score. The Indians set to face David Wells, and he was tough on them about a month ago.
Well, a 32-year-old left-hander making his 9th start this season, a record of 2-3 and an ERA of 3.73. That's the best of any of the Tigers starters. And Wells did beat the Indians on a fine ball game earlier this year. That came on May 4th. He went 7 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, only 3 runs, but did not walk a batter. His problem in the last couple starts has been the long ball. He's given up 4 in his last 2 starts.
And that game that Wells pitched was the first game of the year that the Indians had less than 10 hits. The lineup for the Indians and Mike Hargrove tonight. Kenny Lofton, who is on fire, leads off in center field, followed by Alvaro Espinosa. Carlos Baerga in that number 3 spot. A couple of key runs batted in for him last night. Albert Bell in left field, followed by Eddie Murray. The countdown continues for him. Manny Ramirez, 1 for 14 since being beaned earlier in this homestand. Dave Winfield, who has good numbers against Wells, is the DH. Jim Thome, who does not have a hit against Wells, is the third base. And Tony Pena will bat 9th. Lofton 4 consecutive 3-hit games. You'll recall earlier this season, Lofton and Baerga both in the Indians' 14-7 win at Detroit on May the 3rd. Each had 4 hits in a game. No wonder he's hitting .565 against the Tigers this year. Against Wells, he's 3 for 8 with a double. .486 in his current 9-game hitting streak. First pitch is a strike.
Well, in Wells' last start, that was a game that lasted 4 hours 58 minutes. It was Sunday in Chicago. He was not part of that ball game. He went 6 innings and gave up 3 runs, but Tigers did come back and beat him.
Pulls the breaking ball foul. Who's hot in the American League? Well, certainly Kenny Lofton on this 9-game hitting streak is hot, but Kevin Seitzer now leads the league in batting average thanks to a 14 for 24 stretch. His overall average is up to 387, 10 points better than Chili Davis. 4 Indians are in the top 10, including Lofton, Murray, Ramirez, and Baerga.
You know what I find out a little strange there is that Seitzer that got beaned a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Right on the side of the face, almost on the eye. And
Right
he's
on.
right back in there in a hot streak. That goes to show you there's no fear as a hitter.
1-2 to Lofton. A breaking ball that misses inside. That'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wells originally drafted by Toronto in the 2nd round in '82, and he had been with them exclusively until signing that free agent contract with the Tigers. Got 1 more year to go on his latest 2-year deal, and he is well paid for what he does. Here's the 2-2 to Lofton. He goes the other way, and it's foul out of play. Defensively behind David Wells tonight.
It's going to be Higginson in left, Curtis in center, Bautista in right. Fryman, Trammell on the left side, Whitaker, Fielder on the right, and Flaherty catching.
Wells is from San Diego, California. Lofton tried to lay off. It was a called strike. Kenny checking with the home plate umpire, but he is out number 1.
Perfect pitch right there by Wells. He stayed in on the hands of Lofton. He didn't like the call, but it hits the corner. He stayed right there and tied up Kenny Lofton. He might have been looking for the breaking ball away, and see you later.
Out number 1. That brings up Espinosa. If you look at numbers, Espinosa hits pretty well against Wells. He's 8 for 24. He has a home run. Much better numbers than Omar Vizquel against this tough lefty.
Well, it's nice to see Espy getting a start now. It's been a while, and I know the Indians have been winning. Sunday, Kirby got his start in right field, and now it's Mike Hargrove feels it's time to get these guys some at-bats. Going to run into a spell where they're playing an awful lot of ball games. So you got to keep these guys sharp, and it's nice to see Espy getting a chance to get out there and maybe get 3 or 4 at-bats today.
This is his 3rd start. And and it is the 4th time he's appeared at shortstop. He's gone in 6 times at third, once at second, and a couple of games at first.
Yeah, but you remember last year when the Indians started to play good, when Vizquel went down, this guy really stood in and was what I considered their MVP last year. He was very consistent, and you're not looking for Espy to play every day, but you got to keep him fresh.
The Indians 26-10, the best record in baseball. 14-4 here, 12-6 on the road. That's hit on the ground to second base. Whitaker, the fielder, and 2 outs in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Carlos Baerga. Carlos has struggled, batting right-handed against Wells in his career, only .325. Baerga is the leader in multi-hit games in the American League. He has 17. Twice he's had 2 hits, 4 3-hit games, and 1 4-hit game.
What else is new? We've seen that happen the last few years.
Carlos 2 for 8 in the series with those 2 runs batted in last night. First pitch is a called strike. Both these pitchers
Very
make it
sharp.
easy for the umpire. They're throwing strikes.
Very sharp. That's what you like to see early in the ball game, because of what happens. They may have a tendency to get those calls later on if they're always around the plate.
Lined into center field.
That came right into your living room, didn't it?
Right back at you.
Watch out if you're sitting in the lounge chair. Good approach right there. You'll see Flaherty sitting on the outside corner. Wells hits his spot, but Baerga drives it right back up the middle. Did not try to pull the ball, stayed on it, and hit a line drive.
First hit for the Indians gives Albert Bell a swing here in the bottom of the first. Albert, a couple of runs batted in the series. He's 2 for 8. But a career .438 batting average against Wells. He has done some damage against the guy on the mound tonight. That includes 3 doubles and a home run. Breaking ball is in the dirt, not far enough away for Baerga to advance.
But he did go. They appealed. Durwood Merrill saying yes, he did.
So it's no balls and 1 strike. Take a look for yourself.
Yes, he did.
Now, when you are like the Indians, you lead the league in batting average, runs, homers, and earned run average. You're probably going to be pretty close to first. There's
You better be in first.
great location with the fastball. No balls, 2 strikes. Now Albert's in a hole. Albert is the leader in extra base hits, just ahead of Manny Ramirez.
And still has not had a hot streak yet this year.
Not really what we consider Albert Bell high. Wells chasing Baerga back. Carlos was not far off the bag. Dave Nelson is the first base coach, squinting up into what's left of the afternoon sun.
Let's see if they've got Baerga off and running on first movement here from Wells to try and protect Albert up there. No balls and 2 strikes. Mike does that a lot in this situation.
He is not running. The pitch is a called strike 3. 2 called strikeouts in the inning. A couple of Indians beefing, but we'll go to the second scoreless.
A new season has begun on Sports Channel.
Kirk Gibson leads off for the Tigers. Will be followed by Alan Trammell and Bobby Higginson. Each team with a hit. We're scoreless in the second. Gibson bunts it foul. He's kind of like a new man this year. He's doing a lot of things well. He's got his average up there at .327. He's hit 8 homers, driven in 22. He's stolen 6 bases and hasn't been caught.
Well, he is their leader over there. I think Kirk Gibson, they have a lot of younger players this year, and he is setting the example for those Tiger kids.
At the knees for a called strike 2. You look at the Tigers of late. We mentioned Lou Whitaker's been swinging a hot bat, but so has Kirk Gibson. We have cooled Cecil Fielder off just a little bit here in this series so far. He's 0 for 8. A slider tapped fair. Gibson did not leave the batter's box. It really stayed right on the chalk line, and as it went over the bag, the signal came fair. It's an out.
The shortstop, number 3, Alan Trammell.
Well, we know these lines are very true. He figures that ball's going to go foul. It goes right over the corner of the bag, and you'll see Durwood Merrill right there to pick it up.
Gibson is out number 1 in the second. Alan Trammell, who has a home run in his career against Charles Nagy. Trammell batting .271. The first home run of the year came on Saturday. Of course, he spent some time on the DL this year. Foul. Thome cannot get there.
You got to figure between him and Whitaker, they've been the double play combination for what, 18 years. This may be it for both of them. I know Whitaker has announced already that he is going to call it quits. Trammell has not yet made the decision, but there may be a good chance.
A couple of milestones he'd like to reach, I'm sure, as he lines it down the left field line, turning foul. He needs 27 runs batted in for 1,000. Needs 21 more hits for 2,300, which I'm sure he'll get.
They've been good players for a long time.
Just terrific. How nice it would be. You take two guys and put them out there for almost 2 decades. Again, he's out in front. The count remains a ball and 2 strikes on Alan Trammell, who has 7 hits in 18 at-bats against Charles Nagy, including a home run. The opposition batting .247 against Nagy coming in. He went around, number 2 in the strikeout column for Nagy.
Left fielder, number 4.
That's a good slider by Charles after he was throwing some balls in on the plate and Trammell was pulling them. Go down and away with the breaking ball out of the strike zone, but he could not hold up. That'll be out number 2.
The batter will be Higginson coming up. There's Lou Whitaker. 2 outs and nobody on. Higginson for the Indians this year has been a tough out. Pretty good job on him in Tiger Stadium. Got 3 hits the other night.
This is a young kid. When I was in spring training, John, he looks like he's going to be a good offensive player in this league. He's just young and he needs playing time. That's all there is to it. Talking with Larry Herndon, the hitting coach, says he reminds Higginson reminds him of a few players the Indians had a few years ago. You look at Jim Thome, and after they go out there and get some playing time, this guy's got some good offensive tools and not a bad ball player.
He homered in 2 of those games in Detroit. Low and inside. His numbers thus far on the road trip tonight, making his 18th start in left field. He also has a dozen starts in right field. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs and nobody on. Higginson now steps away. So Charlie will regroup. Foul at the plate. Third base coach for Detroit is Dick Tracewski. Like he's been there for a long, long time. Over at first is Gene Roof. Part of the crew for Sparky Anderson, and I guess you'd have to say that Sparky's future is very much in question with the Tigers. Is this his last year? 3-2 now the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Sparky doesn't have much to answer to. He has proven it. Both leagues, he has been fantastic.
Swing and a miss. Got him on a good breaking ball. 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Nagy. Scoreless as we go to the bottom of the second. Great to have you with us tonight on Sports Channel. Along with Rick Manning, I'm John Sanders. The first pitch to Murray is a ball. The countdown continues. Eddie is just 22 hits away from 3,000. All night games in the American League on our Sherwin-Williams scoreboard. California-Boston scoreless in the second. Good pitching matchup there. Finley and Roger Clemens. Murray takes ball 2. In Baltimore tonight, it's Bosio, who's 3-0 against Brown. Seattle takes on the O's. Oakland and New York, and the Yankees have really struggled. They'll send Pettit to the mound against Ontiveros tonight. Milwaukee playing Minnesota. Bonus for the Brewers and Erickson for the Twins. It's the 2-0 to Murray. Lashed foul into the seats down the left field line. ...48 hits this year, and 17 as a right-hander. There's a drive down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's got a chance. It's up. It's gone. Eddie Murray delivers 1-0 Indians. Eddie Murray puts the Tribe on top with number 467. 21 left to 3,000.
Very quick bet by Eddie Murray in that at-bat. He lined one down the line, foul on the 2-0 count. Wells comes right back, and this is a ball that speeds up Eddie Murray's bat. It's the slider that stayed out over the plate. You'll see Eddie realizes that ball is a souvenir for some fan. Check out the reaction of David Wells. Wow, he said.
Now it's Ramirez to the plate as Eddie Murray goes to the water cooler. Dave Winfield has some work to do. He's now 3 home runs behind Eddie Murray in their seesaw battle among the all-time leaders in home runs.
Number 64 for the Indians this year.
They lead the planet in home runs. Did not have one and still won yesterday. Tapped foul. It's 1-2 on Ramirez. We mentioned 1 for 7 in the series and 1 for his last 14. But the way this club has gone is he cools off after being tremendous in May, then somebody else steps up like Kenny Lofton.
Someone else is good. Well, you see, that's what makes his team so potent.
There's a sky fly ball to center field. Curtis started in, now backpedals slightly and squeezes out number 1.
You know, you talk to this team, and as we've seen this team mature and get better and how they've added bits and pieces to it, there's no pressure on one guy that has to do it night in and night out. It makes it easier. I mean, the pitching is a unit now. They've got a very good bullpen. They've got a solid starting staff. And offensively, you've seen this year to this point, the 7, 8, 9 guys can hurt you. The 2, 3, 4, they're just a very solid ball club.
Here's Winfield.
Makes that man's job a little easier right there.
Certainly does. Winfield 344 in his career against Wells, including 3 dingers. Call strike 1 to Winfield. And you mentioned for Wells the home run ball being the problem. That's the 5th in his last 3 games and his 9th overall. Winfield checks his swing. That breaking ball is low. It's 1-1.
Well, first inning, he came out hitting some terrific spots. It was just a little mistake right there. The slider, when he was down in the count, and Eddie Murray made him pay for it.
Winfield swings at the breaking ball. The other American League game that starts about 8:35 is Kansas City at Texas. Gordon against Pavlik. There was a lot of day baseball in the National League, and we'll fill you in on what happened there. The Pirates broke away from their losing ways, beating the Reds 7-3 in Three Rivers. Winfield out on strike swinging. 3rd strikeout in the first 2 innings for Wells. Each team with 3 K, each pitcher with 3 Ks on his card so far. Well, they settled things down a bit in Atlanta after yesterday's slugfest. This was Atlanta winning over Chicago 4-3. Florida beats Houston 8-3 was the final there. And the Phillies have defeated San Diego 7-1 the final there. A 5-0-5 start in the Rocky Mountains, and Colorado leads St. Louis 7-3 as the Rockies bat in the bottom of the 8th. The first pitch to Tomey is inside for ball 1. Jim's average at 308. He's 1 for 6 now in the series. And he's never had a hit against Wells. He's 0 for 6. The other two National League games, Facero looking for his 8th win and going against the phenom Nomo as Montreal plays Los Angeles tonight. New York at San Francisco. Saberhagen against Portugal. Both of those games will start at 10:35. And we'll keep you posted and have a complete rundown on the Sherwin-Williams scoreboard a little bit later. Comey with a bouncer to first. Cecil Fielder flips it off to Wells. The inning is over, but Murray leads off with a home run, and it's 1-0 Indians as we go to the third.
Sure has changed, Junior.
Yeah, the Hexagon replaced the diamond.
And can you imagine facing 3 pitches?
Emerson on base. Oh, the base ejector got him snoozing. He goes
Why did it all change?
All sport. The game just got too easy.
The unsurpassed taste of all sport. A third more carbs than Gatorade for energy could make a difference.
Next up,
Your grandson's up.
Ken Griffey the fourth. Next, it's going. Watch out, center field. Oh!
Center Bush got him.
He was robbed.
All sport body quencher. The game will never be the same.
You're unbelievable.
All these people spend a small part of their day at a BP station. We make it easy to breeze in, get what you need, and be gone. Because even though we're BP, we understand that the best part of life is not when you're stopped at a gas station. BP, we keep you moving.
The 1995 Indians season was a record-breaking year, but there's more in store for 1996. Albert Bell is 32 homers shy of tying an Indians franchise record. Eddie Murray needs 21 home runs to join baseball's 500 home run club and needs 8 RBIs to rank 12th in all-time RBIs. Kenny Lofton is 4 stolen bases shy of the tribe's all-time stolen base leader. It all adds up to Sports Channel's record-breaking 65-game coverage of your 1996 Cleveland Indians.
Set to go to work against hitters 8, 9, and 1. This is Danny Bautista. 2 for 6 so far in the series. He has 8 hits, 28 at-bats on this road trip, which must seem to the Tigers like a never-ending road trip, although they were telling us that they started out in Toronto, played 3, and went home for a night.
They had an off day before they went to Chicago, so at least they spent their off day in Detroit.
Swing and miss at a breaking ball. Nagy gave up a 1-out double in the first inning to Lou Whitaker. And since then, he has retired 5 straight, 3 of them on strikes. Bautista's average at 262. Off to a good start in the power department. He has 7 homers so far, and his career high is 11. That's wrong. I was looking at Chad Curtis's numbers. He has 1 homer so far. And that came against Minnesota on May the 23rd. This is his 20th start of the year for the Tigers. Game number 39 tonight. Just 1 game off the pace that they had a year ago, but if you look at the standings for them, lined into the glove of Charles Nagy.
That's where you say perfectly. He hit it right where my glove was at. This was a BB. And you'll see how he's got his glove off to the side. It just happens to go right in there. Their gloves up. There it is. He did not have to move it. All he had to do is get his head out of the way. He gets the first out.
John Flaherty, 0 for 5 in the series. Flaherty hitting over 300 at 318. He came into Jacobs Field with a 6-game batting streak and has gone hitless in the last 2. That 6-game batting streak is major league high. 1 for 7 off Charles Nagy in his career. Pulls it to Tomey at third. Flip to Murray covering for out number 2. Charles now has set down 7 in a row. We go back to the top of the order and Chad Curtis. And now I can use my note on Chad Curtis. 7 home runs, 11 is his career high.
Well, he came over in the trade for Tony Phillips. Detroit having to unload some of that high payroll they had last year, so they swapped Phillips, I think one of their most versatile players, to get Chad Curtis. What Curtis does is give him a much better defense in center field. He's a very good defensive center fielder, but what it does, it takes away offensively from the Tigers.
They might be sorry that they checked his bat.
Oh, Phillips, yeah. He had 2 home runs yesterday.
Since they checked that bat for court. 1-1 the count. Curtis bounced back to Nagy, first time up. Swing and a miss.
Good changeup right there by Charles. Watch how out in front of that front foot Curtis is. Good arm speed, and the ball just never gets there.
25 steals for Curtis last year. He's had at least that many in each of the last 3 seasons, but it's a drop-off from the mid-40s.
Well, but his problem, he's not afraid to run. He will take off, but he gets thrown out a lot, John. This year he has been caught 6 times, only 5 stolen bases. You like to see a 2-to-1 ratio, at least if you're going to be a base stealer.
Swings at the slider and bounces the Thome at third. The throw to Murray is in time, and the inning is over 1-2-3. Bottom of the third is next, 1-0 Indians.
Welcome back to Jacobs Field. Well, I thought since the Clemson team is out of the College World Series, that means maybe a little update on our draft pick. With me, Jay Robertson, Director of Scouting. Jay, now that Clemson is out of it, David Miller could be in the fold pretty soon, huh?
Well, David's back at Clemson right now. He's getting ready. He's packing up all of his stuff to head home to Pennsylvania. He worked out today with our scout, Casey McKeon, and I'm going to call his father here this evening and try to set up an appointment in the next couple days.
What makes you excited about David as a player?
I think he's got a chance to have all 5 tools. He runs, he throws, he hits with power, and he loves to play the game.
Can't ask for more than that. Hopefully he'll be an Indian sometime soon.
Of course, we all know that those top draft picks take the longest to sign.
They sure do, because they get the most money.
That's right. And until some begin to sign, you won't know exactly where that figure is going to come.
Well, that's tied in with agents, too. Now, they've got to make sure that they get top dollar for their #1 draft pick. So you may see one sign here soon.
And then the domino effect could begin. Pena just does get a piece of that one. Speaking of the draft picks, those that have signed, and it's something like 19 to 20 maybe, you'll be seeing a lot of them this weekend. Tell me about what's coming up.
Well, they've got what they've called their mini camp down there. Fernando Montes goes down. As a matter of fact, he might be on a plane right now for all the new draft picks. He tests them on strength and puts them through drills, what they do with the minor leaguers and the major leaguers down at their spring training home. And there's a 4 or 5 day workout.
Well hit in the gap into right center field, and Pena has it to the wall. Tony around first, on his way to second. He's in there with a double. Down 0-2, and he pumps it into the gap in right center. So Tony comes back. Remember, he snapped an 0-for-10 slump with a double in the 3rd inning last night. He gets another extra base hit tonight.
Gets that fastball. It's about mid-thigh out over the plate, and he just goes with it. And surprising power for Pena going to right center. He cruises into second with his 6th double, but starts that inning off with a runner in scoring position. Now let's see if the Indians can fundamentally get him over and get him in.
And against a guy who's pitched well against you, those are the things you need to do. Fundamentally advance that runner. Here is Lofton as Wells steps off.
You like to see it at this part of the lineup when you've got the top of the lineup. Now your 9th place hitter gets a double. Kenny's job to move him over, and it'll be Espy's job to get him in.
Of the 6 hits that Pena has in his career against Wells, that's the second 2-base hit. The slider's in the dirt.
This is what you call a little add-on effect here when you have an early lead. These are important runs in a ball game.
I'll tell you what, thinking about that camp coming up this weekend, I don't know what kind of conditioning program those young men have been on prior to this weekend, but they'll get a taste of it.
They haven't seen nothing yet.
Adel Fernando gets a hold of them. Lofton 0-for-1. Pulls it to first base. Russell Fielder makes the play, but he does his job moves the runner to third.
Job well done. Even though you give up an at-bat, he was going to bunt that first time up and got a good breaking ball from Wells, so he decided he was going to get a pitch he could pull, and he does.
Now that forces the Tigers to bring the infield in. That will help Espinoza, who grounded out to second base his first time up.
We'd love to see that infield in when you're a hitter with less than 2 outs. For some reason, it seems to make a 250 hitter a 350 hitter. Creates a lot more holes. You don't have to hit the ball quite as hard.
Fastball down at his knees. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Remember, he does have a good batting average coming into this game, .333 in his career against Wells. He's now 2 for 8, and this is 3rd start of the season. Swings over the breaking ball. It's 1-1.
The only problem here is that when you're playing every day, the pressure's on the pitcher here. But Espy hasn't started in a while, so he wants to get this run in so bad. He's just got to relax and don't try and help out that pitcher. Force Wells to get in the strike zone.
Pulled foul past 3rd. Now he's down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. He'll have to just try to figure out a way to put the ball in play.
A couple good breaking balls from Wells to get back ahead of the count. You would think he just wants to show Espy the fastball, not for a strike.
The infield is in all the way around. It's a 1-0 ball game in the bottom of the 3rd.
There's
exactly
the show,
what he does.
There's the show fastball, and see if he comes back with a breaking ball in this situation. What you do, you change the eye level after 2 good breaking balls. He may not have wanted it that high, but that could be a purpose pitch for the one coming right here.
Does go back to the breaking ball. It's popped up shallow and left. Ranging out to make the play is Alan Trammell. He got it in the air, but not deep enough. And it'll take a 2-out base hit as Baerga comes up. Carlos singled his first at-bat. The Indians with 3 hits in the ball game. Baerga gets singled, and Eddie Murray had a leadoff home run in the 2nd, and Pena with a leadoff double here in the 3rd. But Wells is 1 out away from escaping. The infield now can drop back. Mentioned Baerga, the hit that he got, only the 4th in 26 at bats against Wells in his career. He does have 1 extra base hit, a double. Carlos with a .329 batting average right now. He's really improved his batting average numbers from the right side, coming into the game at .340. 1-1 the count on Carlos Baerga.
Here's a guy that's taken advantage of every time he's had runners in scoring position, hitting at a much better average with runners in scoring position than with nobody on.
That's fair. It will score the run. Baerga around first on his way to second. He's got an RBI double. 2 doubles for the Indians in the inning and a 2-0 lead.
Boy, and I'll tell you what that does. That makes Espinoza feel a whole lot better after not getting that runner in from 3rd base with less than 2 outs. That's when you call picking your teammates up right here. Baerga drills this ball inside the 3rd base bag. And he is now 2 for 2. Double number 7, and the Indians increase that lead 2-0.
Carlos adds to those impressive numbers as a right-handed batter. Remember, last year he had almost 400 left-handed, but only 269 right-handed. He's up in the 350 range right-handed so far this year. A good breaking ball. Albert has been the recipient of several really tough pitches to hit so far. It was a good breaking ball that dropped in by Wells. He was called out on strikes his first time up. Baerga at second base. 2 outs. Bell swings and misses at another good breaking ball.
Well, when you look at the Indians, you feel you can neutralize them when you go against left-handed starters. Their record only 7-5. They were under 500 last year. And what it does, it neutralizes some of their hitters because their switch hitters are better from the left side than they are the right side. And some of their right-handed hitters would rather face righties than lefties.
Twice Albert Bell has been called out on strikes. The Indians get 2 doubles and a run. After 3, they lead the Tigers 2-0. drops in for a strike. Some notes on some of the finals from the afternoon heavy National League schedule. Unbeaten Curt Schilling won his 4th straight. Darren Dalton, Greg Jeffries, Mickey Morandini homered. The Phillies snapped their season high 5-game losing streak, 7-1 over the San Diego Padres, and Lofton tried to run that one down. It's against the wall. Second consecutive double by Lou Whitaker, this time to lead off an inning. And that has been the only man so far who's been able to reach Charles Nagy.
Well, he took a breaking ball down the left field line last time. He gets a fastball, or it might have been a changeup, out over the plate. And you'll see Lou gets good extension and chases Lofton all the way back to the wall. It hits off the wall. Ramirez picks it up, and not before Lou Whitaker double number 9 and gets the Tigers going here in the 4th.
Travis Fryman to the plate. It's a 2-0 Indians lead, but a chance here for the Tigers to cut it in half. Nagy will have to go to work on the heart of the batting order. The outside corner, strike 1 to Fryman. He struck him out the first time up. Atlanta beat Chicago 4-3. Marquise Grissom a 2-run homer in the 7th. The Braves completed a 3-game sweep of the Cubbies. The 0-1 offering. Breaking ball pulled foul. Jay Bell's RBI single snapped a tie. Dave Clark followed with a 2-run double in the 8th. That led the Pirates to a 7-3 win over the Reds. Mark Johnson also hit a pair of solo home runs for the Pirates. They snapped a 5-game losing streak and won for only the 2nd time in their last 10. 0-2 the count on Fryman. Cecil Fielder on deck. Whitaker at second base. Slider is ball 1. Florida Marlins won their first series of the season. Greg Colbrun's 3-run homer highlighted a 4-run first and set them on the way to an 8-3 victory over the Astros.
First series of the season? Wow.
Here's the 1-2. Just a bit outside. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Andres Galarraga, 3-run home run. Vinny Castilla doubled in 2, leading the Rockies to a 7-3 win over the Cardinals. Marvin Freeman got the victory in that game. Danny Jackson took the loss, and Danny is 0-7. Runner going, and it's foul. It looked to me like Whitaker had a great jump.
He had an excellent jump. You can't forget about him. He must have seen the pattern in Charles Nagy not taking 2 looks. And he figures, I'm going to go ahead and try. And you know what? He also may be peeking in and see that it may be a breaking ball being thrown with a good opportunity to run on.
It was fouled off at the plate by Fryman. The count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball on the inside corner, strike 3. 4 for Nagy, 2nd time that he's gotten Fryman.
This is a dandy too. When you're a hitter, you usually look for the breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Charles gets 2 strikes on him. He starts it right at that shoulder. The ball comes on the inside part, and it just locks him up. It froze him. He couldn't pull the trigger and gets a big out.
Now the shift is on for Cecil Fielder. Baerga moving behind second base. He's almost in your picture with Whitaker. Cecil grounded out. First time up, swings and misses at a slider.
Charlie's got a very good slider tonight. He's taken some, you see the shift on Fielder. He has taken more speed off some of the breaking balls, and that's what has the Tiger hitters out in front. He'll go and throw a harder slider as well.
Whitaker started by doubling in the gap against the wall in right center field. The Indians have a pair of doubles tonight and a home run and a 2-0 lead. Nagy is a runner at second base, moved Cecil Fielder off the plate a bit. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. The home plate umpire, Drew Coble, in a conversation with Cecil Fielder as Pena and Nagy try to get on the same page in the center of the diamond.
Well, I think Tony's going out there just to confer with Charles on how they want to approach getting Cecil out this at-bat.
Charlie would like the pop-up or strikeout here in this situation. Got Kirk Gibson to follow. The Indians have a 2-0 lead. We're in the top half of the fourth. Hit on the ground to short again. Espinosa takes his time, kind of double steps away across, throws him out. Plenty of time. That ground ball was hard hit, but right at the shortstop, and that keeps Whitaker firmly implanted in second base.
23, Kirk Gibson.
Now it's Kirk Gibson. He hit a little line hugger down the first baseline that just did stay fair and was fielded right at the bag by Murray. Kirk barely left the batter's box before he was out. He hung around home plate, Rick, hoping it was going to be fouled, but it wasn't.
Well, when you hit a lot of balls like that, normally with that spin, it does roll foul. This one just happened to stay fair.
Ground ball to second base. A leadoff double, but no damage again. It's 2-0. We turn to the bottom half of inning number 4. Next up in the Cuprinol on deck, it'll be the home run man, Eddie Murray, followed by Manny Ramirez and Dave Winfield.
Admittedly, there are some machines that are more powerful than an MTD snow thrower. They're just not quite as practical. Nothing clears snow faster or for less money than MTD snow throwers. American made, American owned. It's slightly easier to push.
Sizzling gun, man. Cool that gun off. Jones hitting a 3. What? Never knew my partner could shoot it, did you? Nah, neither did I. That usually isn't his game, stepping out there. He's trying to, at 46 years old, he's trying to relive his fantasies, what he thought he used to be as a player. He can't play anymore, believe me.
I'm good. We'll always be good.
Jim Jones will always.
It's taken Cal Ripken Jr. 13 grueling years to break Lou Gehrig's record. Now we are
Sports Radio WKNR. There's no better seat in the house. You want the whole story. You want Sports Radio WKNR. Get your sports fix here from Sports Radio 1220 WKNR. Nobody does it better.
41 years it took, and now they have another championship.
When you want the whole story, you want Sports Radio WKNR. All sports, all the time.
Over the past 20 years, the law firm of Forrest, Forbes & Associates has provided legal representation to individuals in a variety of legal matters. If you or someone you know has been involved in a personal injury, automobile accident, wrongful death action, or medical malpractice, you need the representation of Forrest, Forbes & Associates.
Forbes, Forbes & Associates. A name you know, lawyers you can trust.
They appealed, calls it a strike, so it snowballs in one strike. Let's take a look at what happened his first at-bat. Jumped on it, and it was gone. The Indians' first run of the night. 1-1 the count. Hit number 2,979. Home run number 467. RBI number 1,765. On the inside corner, strike 2. 1-2 the count.
Wells has had a good fastball on the inside part of the plate tonight to the right-handed hitters after he has thrown some pretty good breaking balls away, setting them up.
Breaking ball, he pulls it to third. Fryman is there on to first in time, and Murray is out number 1.
Well, you don't want to miss out on any of the action that's been going on down here this year. You can purchase tickets in advance for 95 Indian home games at any of the 3 Indians team shops, at all Ticketmaster outlets in the Jacobs Field box office, or by calling Ticketmaster at 216-241-8888.
The batter, Manny Ramirez. You speak about what's going on down here. The fans are coming back. They're 1,000 ahead of last year at this time. But you look at last year's team. At this time, they were just 2 games over 500 at 19-17. This year, 26-10. Breaking ball for a strike.
Well, I guess the fans need that warm weather to come out here as well, but I'll tell you, you better hurry up and get your tickets now because there will not be too many left as this season keeps going.
Well, we had about 8,000 remaining for tonight. There were probably some walk-up tickets purchased. Fastball inside, 1-1 the count. No report on what it looks like for the next homestand, which starts next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Let me see if I've got a report on that, John.
Okay.
Looking now in the Baltimore series on Monday, there's about 4,000 available. On Tuesday, 8,000, and on Wednesday, 1,000.
Bounces that pitch up there, and it evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ramirez with a fly ball to center field. His average is at .357. He's now 2 for 4 in his career against Wells. One of those 2 hits, a home run. The 23-year-old makes his home in the Cleveland area. He hits it high to center field. Curtis on the move near the warning track. He'll have room. Deep to center that time. But twice retired by Chad Curtis. The Indians with at least 1 hit in each of the first 3 innings. 2 outs and nobody on here in the 4th. A 2-0 Indians lead. Winfield struck out his first time up. Wells has struck out 4 in the first 3 2/3 innings, including Albert Bell twice looking. He's also struck out Lofton and Dave Winfield. Jim Thome moves out on deck. That's low. Ball 2, 2-0. Look ahead to the road trip that begins tomorrow. 8:05 is game time here in Cleveland as they play in Milwaukee. Dennis Martinez looking for his 6th straight victory against Steve Sparks. Chad O.J. into the starting rotation. Will take on Sid Roberson in the Friday night matchup. Winfield swings at a breaking ball.
Dave upset with himself there. Had the count in his favor and swung at a pitch he did not want to swing at.
Orel Hershiser will pitch on Saturday. That's also an 8:05 game. The starter is undecided for Milwaukee. Bud Black will pitch the finale of that series on Sunday. They are all right there. Bob Scanlon will start for the Milwaukee Brewers. The starting rotation in your picture. Jason Grimsley for the moment back to the bullpen. They can get him back on target. There was some talk that he might get another start. Winfield swings and misses at that pitch. But after thinking about it a while, they decided maybe the bullpen was the best place to get him turned around. 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Indians have the early 2-0 lead. Off the end of the bat toward Whitaker. Throws Winfield out for the first time tonight. The Indians go in order. We go to the 5th, 2-0 Tribe. We are back to Jacobs Field. The Indians with a 2-0 lead. And it is a night you can go without a shirt, no problem.
Tyler and the guys.
Yeah.
Weren't they up in Detroit with us?
I think so. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Indians. No runs, 2 hits so far for the Tigers. Both of those hits belong to Whitaker. Both were doubles. First pitch is a ball to Alan Trammell. Struck out his first time up. Nagy has 4 Ks on his card. The Indians averaging 35,538 per home date in '95. That's the 3rd highest in the American League and the 4th highest in baseball. The Rockies, the Orioles, and the Blue Jays are averaging more fans. Keep in mind the Indians have the 4th smallest capacity in baseball. And as I mentioned earlier, they are about 1,000 ahead of last year. There's a strike. 1-2. And I tell you what, the way Drew Coble has set up his strike zone, you better go up there swinging or you'll be back on the bench before you know it.
But these guys are hitting their spots, John. They're changing speed, throwing the breaking balls away, fastballs in. They're doing a good job.
A 1-2 the count on Alan Trammell. His average at 268. It's the 5th inning. The Indians and the Tigers meeting in their 2nd series of the year. Game number 6 tonight. The Indians have won 4 of the first 5. Checks his swing.
Friday lunch parties are back at Jacobs Field. The Davy Tree backyard is open from 11:30 to 2:30 every Friday afternoon. Chicken, salads, fruits, desserts, along with traditional hamburgers and hot dogs will be available at all special prices. So come on down and check it out on Fridays.
2-2 pitch. He just missed low and outside. They appeal, and Durwood Merrill says
the first
no.
one they've got tonight, so he had a good look. That was a fastball down.
37-year-old Alan Trammell from Garden Grove, California. Drafted all the way back in 1976. Almost 20 years ago. A little tapper foul. It remains 3-2. His career really began to slow down in 1992 when he suffered that broken ankle. But how about 1987 when he hit .343, 28 homers, 105 runs batted in. He was 2nd in the MVP voting. There is a beautiful breaking ball, and it is strikeout number 5 for Nagy.
Almost looked like Trammell was looking for that pitch and just couldn't pull the trigger on because it was in such a great spot. Upset with himself, I think, and not at the call.
Here is Bob Higginson. He struck out his first time up. Breaking ball drops low. I know that Ralph Toole, the pitching coach for Sparky Anderson's Tigers, is celebrating his 40th birthday today, on June the 7th. Nagy looks in for a sign. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch is pulled to second base. Baerga will gobble that one up for the 2nd out. Other memorable baseball names with birthdays on June 7th. Well, one of them is not too far away from us. Herb Score.
Herbie, it's his birthday today, huh? No wonder why he looks so good.
And former Indian, now leading the majors in saves, Heathcliff Slocum.
There's the left-hander.
2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. Bautista hit a bullet right back to Charles Nagy. Charles reached out, speared it. Bautista turned 23 in late May. Opened up with the Tigers and appeared in 31 games. He finished the season at Toledo. Did suffer a broken finger in June and was out for almost 2 months.
You were talking about Drew Coble's strike zone, but do you see what's happening here? The game's moving along. The pitchers are hitting their spots. How many times do you see where an umpire will give the pitcher that pitch more times? Now you're going to get the hitter swinging the bat. That's one reason I think that you're going to speed up games.
Just a little bit outside. It's 1-2. Danny Bautista batting with 2 outs and nobody on. in the top of the 5th inning. Strike 3.
Got that one.
Half dozen for Charles Nagy. Midpoint of the game tonight. 2-0 Indians.
Extreme mountain biking, 45 miles an hour.
Did it.
65 miles an hour.
Done it.
Blindfolded.
Been there.
Then a 4,000-foot vertical drop.
Tried that.
All while slamming a Dew. Nothing's more intense than slamming Mountain Dew. Oh yeah, no shoot. Just kidding.
Decent. You're unbelievable.
A new day's dawned. There's gold in the blue. There's hope in the hearts of men. All the world's on the way to a brighter day because a new day has dawned again. No longer do you have to settle for making low returns on your hard-earned money. You have options. Government-regulated commodities exchange-traded options. Call Universal Commodities Corporation and discover how an investment of $5,000 in the right market at the right time could turn into $20,000 or more in less than 3 months. Just as sure as the leaves turn in the fall and snow melts in the spring, there are seasonal upward pressure on the prices of certain commodities. Case in point, the price of heating oil is now poised for seasonal upward pressure due to the usual demands of winter. So call today and discover all of your options. This could be the most important phone call you ever make. Call Universal Commodities Corporation today.
And we certainly thank those people for the greeting. For those of us on Sports Channel, we're glad to have you with us tonight. I know
that your name was first. I know those people from PA that made that sign up.
It's the first time I've gotten top billing out of this trio. 2-0 is the score. Bottom of the 5th. Tommy Pena and Lofton do up against David Wells, now 32 years old. His birthday was on May the 20th. He was with the Jays in the League Championship Series in '89, '91, '92. Breaking ball is inside, ball 1. Remember '93 for Wells when he opened up 9-1 and was on fire? Wound up the year 11-9.
When he had some surgery on that elbow, had some chips removed. April 20th of '94 last year.
Well, he's had injuries the last couple of years.
Yeah, but you know, when he filled in with Toronto, was never really a starter, had some great success coming out of the bullpen.
Well, like '92, he won 7, lost 9, and had 2 saves. He was very busy out of the bullpen. Didn't really become a full-time starter until he got to Detroit.
I know the Indians, when he was a free agent, very interested in him. He came to Cleveland, and the thing that they could not do was give him the money that Detroit did.
Well, he won 15 games for the Jays in '91. 15, 10, and 1. Tommy pops it up. Right side of the infield. It'll be Lou Whitaker's ball. 1 out.
Indians baseball is brought to you by Mick Golden, the smooth golden one that goes down easy. Michelob Draft, smooth over everything.
That'll bring up Tony Pandy. He doubled and scored the second Indians run in the 3rd inning. Pitchers have pretty much been in control here tonight. The Indians do have a couple of extra base hits. They accounted for the 2nd run. Eddie Murray's home run accounted for the 1st run. The 2 base hits tonight for the Tigers are extra base hits, a pair of doubles by Lou Whitaker. Just 4 hits in the ballgame for the Indians. Pena swings at that breaking ball. After he gave up that double on the fastball, he got Tony way out in front of him.
But he had Tony down in the count.
No balls,
Wells,
2 strikes.
I'll tell you, I'm sure that was a mistake by him.
Final game of the series, final game of the homestand. The Indians with the best record in the majors. Phillies won again today. They have 25 wins now. Atlanta not far back with 24 wins. On the inside corner, strike 2. Pena in the same count that he was his first at-bat.
That's where Tony's not going to say a word. He's going to say, if you call that, fine. As long as my pitcher gets that pitch, you got to give him the other guy that pitch as well.
Wells is 6'4", 225. His numbers so far, 4 strikeouts. Charles Nagy with a half dozen already. The 0-2. Pena pulls it foul between Jeff Newman and the third base bag. On the 28th of May, in his last victory, Charles had 8 strikeouts at Toronto. Has 6 so far tonight. Wells moves Pena off the plate.
That's where he wanted that fastball right there, to move him back off the plate. And what he's been doing is going back on the outside part with the slow breaking ball. Got timeout at first base. Cecil Fielder, something wrong with his glove, trying to tie it back up. Getting an assist from Durwood Merrill. You better make sure those strings are tight. You don't want one of those balls coming through.
1 ball, 2 strikes. On 2 different occasions this year, Wells has had 8 strikeouts in a game. A couple of times he's had 7. He does go back to the off-speed breaking ball, and Pena's strikeout victim number 5.
See, even when you know that as a hitter that this guy is how he's trying to set you up, if he puts it in good spots, it's just that much tougher to hit. He really took something off, moved him back the pitch before, and what it does, it gives him a little more of that outside part of the plate to work with, and he's been doing a good job.
6 in a row now retired since the RBI double by Baerga. Top of the order now, Kenny Lofton 0 for 2. Came in working on that 9-game hitting streak. His average has dropped 5 points to 333. Strike 1 called. Kenny now 3 for 10 in his career off David Wells. He got the slow breaking ball, and he's down in the count 0-2. We're seeing some great pitching by these two guys tonight, at least to this point in the ball game. The Indians have been fortunate when he has made some mistakes and been a little off in his location. They've made him pay so far.
Sometimes when you get into ball games like this, that's all it takes is one mistake. You know, a pitcher can throw 100, 110 pitches, make one mistake and get beat. That's the sad thing about it, but this is a nice matchup to this point.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Kenny Lofton. Batting with 2 outs and nobody on. We're in the bottom half of inning number 5 tonight at Jacobs Field.
We talk so much about the offense of the Indians. Well, good pitching is going to stop good hitting most of the times. But you just got to go out there and do the little things right to win ball games. But the Indians have done that.
Full count, 3-2. And those last 2 pitches were not far off the mark. Lofton was able to lay off. Kenny finally getting into double figures and steals with 10. Just got a piece of that one. And the count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. David Wells obviously not a proponent, as many players are, of the tight-fitting uniform. 3-2 to Kenny, hit on the ground. Whitaker is there, flips it on to first. The Indians go in order for the 2nd straight time. We go to inning number 6 with the Indians leading by a pair. Top of the 8th inning, the Indians leading 2-0. Time to answer the Wendy's trivia question. And here is the answer. Dennis Martinez, Catfish Hunter, Jim Bunning all have at least 224 career wins. All of them pitched perfect games.
Surprised one of the old-timers weren't on that list, like Cy Young. You would think he may have a game. Another name that came to mind to me was Sandy Koufax, but I know he did not have enough wins.
Well, I think that we will be probably in the next homestand. We'll be getting some burgers up here.
Yeah.
In
There's
return for
El Presidente right there. He's got 200 and how many wins now? He's got about 24 or 25 wins. That's where they started at tonight. They had to get
all those with 224. Well, if Cy Young doesn't have one in 511 victories, I'd be shocked. Here's Bautista. He's lined out, been called out on strikes. Top of the 8th. The Indians begin to warm up the bullpen with a lefty and a righty. It's Assenmacher, the lefty, and Plunk, the righty, throwing. Missed with the breaking ball. It's 2-0. Louis Isaac, the bullpen coach, looking on.
Look at our man Scott's back in here today.
Hi, Scott.
This guy is, I'll tell you, he feeds us too good. Look at that.
I hate to see the homestand come to an end.
That's right. Thank you.
Bautista leading off the 8th. It's a 2-0 ball game. The bouncer, Espinosa near the bag, gobbles it up and guns him out. Bautista, pretty good runner. Espinosa very much aware of that. He cut it loose.
That's the one thing about Espy. He has a better arm than Omar. Omar gets to that ball quickly, and he gets those guys by half a step. But watch the arm on Espinosa right here. Comes up, plants his feet, and just stays down and fires a seed.
John Flaherty 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out tonight. One away in the 8th. The wind, which has really not been much of a factor, blowing toward the right field corner tonight. It was rather breezy in downtown Cleveland earlier today. Breaking ball misses away. '27-year-old John Flaherty came over here as he takes a strike from Boston on April Fool's Day last year. He opened and finished the year at Toledo, but he did spend 34 games in a Tiger uniform. Strike 2. And that's another one of those pitches that starts at the hitter and just nips the inside corner.
Yeah, he's changing it up a little bit. Remember last year when the Indians pitchers got onto a run. Once that starter, I think it was Mark Clark against the same Tigers, had that complete game on Friday night. They started to get on a roll. And I think they're getting to that point right now, John, where, you know, they watch everything and they talk, and you see they sit in the dugout together and everything goes on as Nagy gets his 8th strikeout. But that becomes contagious as well as hitting does. And, you know, these guys talk about how to pitch hitters, how to pitch certain teams, certain situations, and it's very contagious, and it's starting to pick up.
First pitch is downstairs for ball 1 to Chad Curtis 0 for 3, and he's grounded out 3 times. Charles Nagy will have to deal with the heart of the batting order one more time. This is the 8th. And it's 1-1.
Well, he keeps hitting spots like he's hit all night long, though. It's going to be tough for the Tigers to bounce back. It's at great locations.
Detroit has had no more than 1 base runner in any of the innings so far. 3 of their hits belong to Whitaker. That one didn't miss by much. It's 2-1. The other, a leadoff single in the 7th inning to Cecil Fielder. Charles has pitched around a 1-out double by Whitaker in the 1st and a leadoff double by Whitaker in the 4th. Tried to hold up, but he went around.
Still look back, there has only been 1 out made in the air by the Tigers, and that was Travis Fryman, who flew out weakly to Manny Ramirez in right field. Other than that, it's been strikeout or ground ball.
That is kind of surprising when you consider Fryman, Cecil Fielder, Gibson, the kind of guys that can hit fly balls.
Well, that's Nagy's strength, that good sinker. He's been down in the strike zone all night.
Tried to paint the outside corner with a fastball, and it's full of 3-2. I'll tell you what, the folks from the Terrace Club have just done a great job for us on this homestand, haven't they?
Yeah, we better not get on a scale, I'll tell you one thing. We sent up some food. And Tommy, down in the truck, I'm going to send something down for you.
Here's the 3-2. Fly ball working its way down the right field line. Ramirez will not get there, but a fan will. Still 3-2 on Chad Curtis.
That's
Now, see, this is not really fattening stuff we have here now. We can handle this. Try not to spill the dip on the notes, okay? 3-2. Up the middle, a base hit. A 2-out single for Curtis. And now Whitaker, who's 3 for 3, will come to the plate. Ruth with some words for Curtis.
On the 3-2 pitch, watch this one. This is going to be middle of the plate, one of the few that he's gotten up in the strike zone. But Curtis, a short, quick swing, takes it back up the middle. The 5th hit for the Tigers tonight, and only the 3rd Tiger to get in the hit column.
Each team with 5 hits. Carlos Baerga pulled around in the hole at second base, and Espinoza moved over towards second base defensively for Whitaker, who hits a fly ball to right field. Back is Ramirez. The ball is up over his head and gone. Just like that, a 4-for-4 night for the veteran Whitaker and a 2-2 ball game. Charles Nagy makes a mistake, and the Tigers are even. Just like that.
Well, we mentioned it before. It doesn't take many. And all you have to do sometimes is make one mistake, as Whitaker looking for the fastball and gets it on the first pitch from Charles Nagy and hooks it into right field and ties this ball game up. Second home run and the 11th and 12th RBI for Whitaker. And look at Charlie. All that hard work right now, and it's still just a tie ball game here in the top half of the 8th inning.
Back to work he goes against Travis Fryman.
Right now he cannot lose composure. He's pitched great to this point. Just that one mistake there to Whitaker. Don't make another one.
It's 2-2. Downstairs for a ball. Looking to the bottom of the 8th, Jim Thome, Tony Pena, and Kenny Lofton due up against Wells, who's pitched brilliantly tonight. Half dozen hits for Detroit, each team with a home run. Four hits in the ball game for Whitaker. It's a broken bat ground ball to short. Espinoza will take care of the runner, but a 2-run homer has tied it as we go to the bottom of the 8th at Jacobs Field.
Need a facelift? Play the Ohio Lottery instant games. They can change your outlook in an instant, because you can win hundreds, even thousands of dollars just like that. So do something about your appearance and try your luck today. Ohio Lottery instant games, for a whole new you.
If you're not watching Sports Channel.
Marley finds Mills. Chris with a good look at it. We're tied at 103. Mills on the home run hit. Did Fratello and Rothstein draw that up perfectly.
Don't miss the Cavs as they post up against the Vancouver Grizzlies Thursday, January 18th at 10 p.m. on Sports Channel, where tuning in can make a coach's day.
After all the hype and all the noise, which gasoline still attracts more drivers than any other? No contest. Shell, the world's best-selling gasoline.
Plunk is our Revco reliever, and his numbers are brought to you by Revco Drugstores. Revco, a friend for life.
And we look at Eric, and he is coming out for the 18th time, a record of 2-1. He does have a save, and in 20 1/3 innings, only giving up 15 hits. He has walked 9, struck out 22. But what an outing by Charles Nagy. Nagy goes 8 innings, gives up 6 hits, just the 2 runs. He did not walk a batter, struck out 8, and gave up the 1 home run to Lou Whitaker.
New battery for the Indians here in the 9th inning. Pena with Kirby pinch running for him. It's Scooter Tucker going behind the plate. So Mike Hargrove has used half of his bench. Remember, the Tigers are carrying only 10 pitchers, so they have a couple of extra players available off their bench. We saw him yesterday pinch hitting in the 9th inning against Mesa.
He had all the left-handers on the bench yesterday.
The real problem for the Indians tonight and Charles Nagy was Lou Whitaker. He had 2 doubles and a home run and drove in the 2 runs. Everybody else was handled, including 8 strikeouts out of that 2 for 26. Cecil Fielder, a base hit his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Cecil batting .216. Just 1 for 10 in this series. Upstairs for ball 1. This is always an interesting matchup when Eric Plunk faces Cecil Fielder.
Would you say power against power?
I think you would. The Indians do have the shift on, as always, with Baerga behind second base.
Last time that Plunk has pitched came back on June 1st. It is 6 days ago against the White Sox when he earned his save. Went an inning, struck out 2. So it's been a while.
That's a strike. 2-1 to the big man Cecil Fielder. Have played well in the close games. They're 9 and 4 in 1-run ball games. Tigers are 5 and 6. There's a fly ball toward right field. Measured by Manning. He's got that little
he comes up
waist high catch down, hasn't he?
He makes it so nonchalant. I'll tell you what, I never used to like to catch a ball like that. I was scared I might drop it, but he comes in and makes it look easy. Just cruises in. Okay, ho hum down at the waist. Hope it sticks in there.
It does. Here's Gibson. 0 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. Got as far as second base. Hits are even at 6 apiece. Runs are even at 2 apiece. Low and inside with a fastball. Talk that Kirk may stick around and continue as a coach or possibly a manager in baseball when he's through playing. It looked like he was through altogether a couple of years ago, but he's come back. Upstairs 2-0.
I hate to have to do an interview with him after a loss if he's a manager, I'll tell you that.
Might be short and to the point.
Better not ask the wrong question.
Line towards center field. Lofton over and runs it down. That ball was hit hard, and Lofton, moving quickly to his left, reaches up and makes the play.
This is a bullet right on the nose, and Lofton tracks it down. Believe me, this ball got to Kenny in a hurry. You'll see he's running, and I don't know if that ball was sinking or doing anything on him, but it was right in his tracks. Out number 2.
Alan Trammell 0 for 3. Hit a slow roller that Espinosa came in, made a good play on in the 7th inning. Prior to that, he had struck out twice against Charles Nagy. Fastball for a strike. 0-1. We're in the top of the ninth. The ball game is tied at 3. You look to the bottom half of the ninth inning. Baerga, Bell, and Murray due up. Breaking ball, no, and it's 1-1.
You can catch the Tribe on Channel 43 tomorrow night in Milwaukee at 8 o'clock as they start a 4-game series and then come right back home.
Line to Tomey. 2 balls hit hard in the inning. Tigers go in order. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. The Indians need 1. The lights of Terminal Tower, a 2-2 ball game, bottom of the ninth. The fans have moved to the edge of their seats because this is the part of the ball game that has belonged to the Indians. You look at what we talked about, the magic of Jacobs Field, and they are starting to come to life right now. 6 times so far this year they've won a ball game here in their last at-bat. It has happened 4 times on this homestand. Baerga, 2 for 3. Facing David Wells. Breaking ball is ball 1.
Wells has been the man for the Tigers this year. The team only with 3 complete games. He has 2 of them. And he has been tough on the Indians tonight.
The Indians need a base runner, obviously. With that winning run aboard.
Yeah, they just need a run.
We've seen him in with 1 swing here before. Fastball inside. 2-0. And Carlos has the count in his favor. You'd like to see him not help Wells out here. Get a good pitch to hit. Baerga has singled and doubled and driven a run in. He has 3 RBI in the series. He leads off the bottom of the ninth. And he pulls a base hit to left. The winning run is on. Now these folks will really start to get into it.
Well, he got a pitch he liked, John, as you mentioned. You don't want to help him out, but Wells come right at him with the fastball, and Baerga was ready for it. Gets his 3rd hit on the night and hits this ball right on the nose to left field. You'll see Wells does not want to fall behind 3 balls and no strikes, wants him to hit it. The 7th hit for the Indians, 3rd for Carlos, and the Indians with something going here in the ninth.
Albert Bell 0 for 3 steps in. And Albert does not have much to show for his 3 at-bats against Wells. The first 2 times up he was called out on strikes. He grounded out to short his last time up. Gets a fastball and fouls it straight back. And he knows he had a pretty good pitch right there.
Well, just up enough to get it by Albert. Albert, a great low ball hitter.
Nobody out. Baerga at first. That one kicks away from the catcher. Baerga on his way to second. He's in scoring position. That's what you talked about, Rick. The wild pitches. He got the ball in the dirt. It scooted away from Flaherty, and Baerga's at second base.
Well, that's what you have to. If you're not going to steal a base, you got to be aware of the breaking ball. The catcher is taught to just block this ball, but when it goes to his left or his right, you take off. And there you go. You'll see that pumps it up. That gives you an extra base right there. It's only the 3rd wild pitch on Wells, and now that's going to be a conference on the mound with Sparky, because now they want to talk about how they're going to approach Albert in this at-bat with first base open.
And there's nobody up in the bullpen. Albert's run really means nothing at this point. However, you've got to look at the other side of the ledger. He's not really had any good at-bats tonight in the ballgame.
Yeah, but this is a guy that has proven he beats you when the game is on the line.
And it is on the line right here. Winning run at second base and nobody out.
Go ahead and choose your poison. You want to pitch to Bell, or you want to go pitch to Eddie Murray, or you're going to have to pitch to somebody.
30 36,363, and they are going to pass him. They will not let Albert Bell beat them.
I do not disagree with this whatsoever.
Well, by far,
Eddie Murray in now, and now he's going to say if they don't want to try and bunt in this situation, which I don't think Eddie will be, then you got the chance to get the ground ball double play.
The 15th intentional walk given up by Sparky and the Tigers. There's Truel, the birthday boy pitching coach. That is more than anyone in the American League.
Well, Murray is not going to sacrifice. He does not have an attempt this year. Mike Hargrove going to let him swing, go for the gusto right here. People are going to get on their feet and start chanting Eddie.
And it looks like the Tigers are going to get the bullpen working now. Well, at number 15 is David Maxey.
They better hurry up because it could be one pitch from here.
David Maxey, a right-hander, beginning to warm up. Flaherty, the catcher, out in front of the plate to set the defense. Seven hits for the Indians, 6 for the Tigers. The ball game is on the line in the 9th inning. Murray 1 for 3. Checks his swing. The ball is low. 1-0. Baerga singled to start the inning. Wells Wild pitched him to second, so they intentionally walked Albert Bell. See the difference in his average with runners on and nobody on. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Might be 2. Second for 1. They take him out at second base.
Great job there by Albert Bell. That ball not hit sharply to Trammell at shortstop. That is good hustle, a good clean play to take Whitaker out. He was not able to make the turn, to make the throw. Keeps the inning alive.
First and third with 1 out.
You'll see it jams Murray on the fastball. Trammell has to come in, but watch Bell. This is a major hit right here. And Whitaker with no chance to get rid of it. And the fans enjoyed that one. And now what's going to happen? You're going to walk Manny Ramirez.
That will set up the bases loaded situation and the possibility of a force at home. And they'll put it all in the back of Dave Winfield. Now, if you decide to go get the right-hander to face Winfield, you still have Paul Sorrento available off the bench.
Well, this was a matchup pretty much like they had last night. They had the left-hander to face Dave Winfield, but Sparky did go to the bullpen for the right-hander. Mike Hargrove counters with Wayne Kirby in that situation for Winfield, and Kirby ended up getting the ground ball and getting the winning run home. So they have it the way they want it. Bases loaded, 1 out. And you see Sparky say, let's go. Go get it. He's yours. Wells has pitched hard enough for him tonight. It's going to be his win or his loss. He's going to let him get it on his own.
And Winfield is 0 for 3, despite having the highest batting average of any of the Indians' starters.
Tonight, they're going to, you see, here in this situation, they're going to keep the infield in. Last night in the 8th inning with the game tied, they had the infield back.
So they will come to the plate.
Trying to cut off the run. Infield, outfield playing up.
Everybody's up. A deep fly ball means the game is over. So they're in all the way. Winfield takes a fastball inside, ball 1. I'll tell you what, if you're a pitcher who's pitched his heart out, you got to like this in Sparky. It's my ball game right here.
Well, you stay with Wells, who has been a veteran in this situation, instead of going to a rookie who they've got coming out of the bullpen.
Well, he's been their best pitcher. Broke his bat, I think, and fouled it off. He'll need some new lumber. It's 1-1.
You see, he's not letting Big Dave extend the arms. Both pitches have been on the inside part of the plate, almost like a cut fastball. The first one missed. Winfield goes after that one, shatters his bat. stay right here and at least get Winfield conscious of him coming in and then try and get him out with the slow breaking ball away.
It's 1-1 with 1 out. The bases are loaded in the bottom of the 9th inning. The game is tied at 2. Don't you know Winfield would love to win this ball game? Great hard pitch on the low inside part of the plate. It's 1-2.
Boy, that was an excellent spot. See, that ball just runs in on the hands of Winfield with no chance to hit that ball. You might as well take it. Now, you see, Wells can stay right there if he wants with that same pitch.
Or if he misses off the plate.
That's right, if he misses off the plate. Or he can try and show him that breaking ball away to see if he can get him to fish. But the success he's had, I'd stay right on the inside part of that plate.
Comey is on deck. 1 out. Line drive to third. The out at home. Carlos better stay put. Did he drop the ball? That's the question. This could be an inning-ending double play.
What's going on?
I think he dropped the ball at third. He didn't catch it in the air.
He did not catch it in the air.
How many outs do we have? The Tigers are leaving the field. Baerga's going to come to the plate.
Wait a minute. Now, I don't see any umpires making anything.
Baerga touches home.
He was on third base when a third baseman touched him.
I only saw 1 out recorded. Let's go back to the replay when we can. He dropped the ball. They got 2 outs. They think they did.
It was a BB. He stayed down right there. It was at Freundon, but the ball comes out. All right, so now Baerga, all right, he's got to go home. He touched him out.
So Baerga is out.
So when he goes home, he's out. Now, where's the next out?
I don't think they have another out.
Baerga's run didn't mean anything. Eddie Murray at third base, or whoever was on second, which was Eddie.
They touch second base, which they're going to claim is the second or third and final out. Jeff Newman getting a little hot down there with Merriweather. I think the inning is over.
I want to know how to score this.
I don't know. We'll see if Hank knows how to score. We're not going anyplace until we settle this little dispute. The Tigers, and it was right
I think
they left the
you
field.
Can't catch the ball and drop it. That's exactly what Mike Hargrove said. Well, any way you look at it, it's going to go as a double play.
We'll take a break. We'll sort it out when we come back.
The 1995 Indians season was a record-breaking year, but there's more in store for 1996. Albert Bell is 32 homers shy of tying an Indians franchise record. Eddie Murray needs 21 home runs to join baseball's 500 home run club and needs 8 RBIs to rank 12th in all-time RBIs. Kenny Lofton is 4 stolen bases shy of the tribe's all-time stolen base leader. It all adds up to Sports Channel's record-breaking 65-game coverage of your 1996 Cleveland Indians.
All these people spend a small part of their day at a BP station. We make it easy to breeze in, get what you need, and be gone. Because even though we're BP, we understand. Not when you're stopped at a gas station. BP, we keep you moving.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now 1-800-282-5020.
The bases loaded, 1 out, and Winfield hits a rope to third. Fryman catches it, then drops it.
Well, who's to say? They may be arguing that he dropped it on purpose. Tags by Ergo, who was a force out at home anyway.
There's 1 out for sure.
You'll see the umpire's hand is out. Now they'll go to second and step on the bag. That's out number 3. So it's going to go 5-2-4 on the double play.
That's what I would say.
That's what we've got. So. Anyway, this is
what a wild inning, huh?
A different ball game. Extra innings. It's going to go 5-2-4 on the double play. And we are going into extra innings. And how David Wells got out of that, I'll never know. But he is out of it. The Indians are back on the field, getting loose.
Well, give him some credit. Although the ball that Winfield hit, he hit a bullet to the third baseman. And Fryman, who was playing in at third, didn't move at all.
See, Sparky's going to explain it to his own pitcher. Doesn't matter as long as you're out of it, man.
There's an out at home and out at second. There was 1 out. That adds up to 3. 2-2 ball game. Extra inning time. Bottom third of the order.
Yeah,
Higginson to lead it off.
He's probably going to say, okay, good job, you're done.
The Indians are 3-0 in extra inning games. The Tigers are 1-1. Swing and a miss by Bobby Higginson, who was 0 for 3. He struck out once, grounded out a couple of times. Higginson, Bautista, and Flaherty due up for Detroit. Golden opportunity for the Indians with the bases loaded. And if Fryman at third just catches the ball, the inning continues on because that's only 1 out.
It's a heads-up play if he dropped it. That's something we'll never know. The only way we can find out is ask him afterwards, and no guarantee he's going to tell us what happened.
Breaking ball is in for strike 2. 1-2. Plunk in his second inning of relief. He got Cecil Fielder, Kirk Gibson, and Alan Trammell in order in the 9th, although Gibson and Trammell hit the ball hard. Strike 3 call. The last 2 strikes on a couple of outstanding breaking balls by Plunk. It's the 9th strikeout for Indians pitchers tonight.
Good breaking ball. We've seen in the past when Eric's got that good heater that he is spotting and comes back with the breaking ball, he's awfully tough.
Bautista is 0 for 3. This bottom third of the order, 0 for 9 tonight with 5 strikeouts. The number 2 spot has been a real pain for the Indians.
I was going to say, once you get past the number 4 slot, nobody's got a hit.
That's right.
The 2 slots got 4 out of the 6.
Chad Curtis has a base hit. He got the 2-out single in the 8th and was aboard for Whitaker's game-tying home run. Cecil Fielder has the other hit for Detroit tonight. Plunk goes back to the breaking ball. The count evens out at 1-1 on Bautista. Currently batting .253. Misses up and away. The right-hander Maxey is still up in the Detroit bullpen. Jeff Jones is the bullpen coach. Sparky Anderson back with a fastball. It's 2-2. So after a couple of breaking pitches, Plunk goes back to the power. We're in the 10th tonight at Jacobs Field, along with Lisa Burkue and Rick Manning. I'm John Sanders, and it's great to have you with us. Powder River. Second straight strikeout for Plunk. The catcher Flaherty, who has grounded out and struck out twice, steps up.
Indians on staff now, again with 10 strikeouts on the night. Charles Nagy had 8.
And it's been 5 guys who've struck out twice apiece. Goes back to the breaking ball and misses outside. Tigers, as you might guess, have struck out more than anybody else in the American League. That's fouled back and evens the count at 1-1. That, of course, had been a given for several years. But they're starting
that's when they used to hit the home run.
That's true.
And, you know, hit the long ball. You could take it then. This is a team that, you know, is not a home run. They are 5th in the American League coming into tonight. They now have 47, but they run more. They hit and run more.
Fastball misses high and away. 2-1 the count. We look to the bottom half of the 10th inning. Jim Thome, Scooter Tucker, and then the top of the order, Kenny Lofton due up. The Indians had a bases loaded 1-out situation, in with an unusual double play. 5-2-4. It left everybody slightly confused. Two strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on here in the 10th. Popped up. Tucker back to the screen. It's in the second row. Scooter's got himself a new do, too, doesn't he? With a major haircut.
I didn't see it.
2 strikeouts for Plunk here in the 10th. The count is 2-2 on John Flaherty. Strike 3 called. He strikes out the side. We go to the bottom half of the 10th. The Indians with another chance to win it. It's a 2-2 ball game. We move to the bottom half of the 10th inning. You salute David Wells for 9 innings of pitching, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, both intentional, 2 runs, both earned, 1 home run, 1 wild pitch. He turns it over to a young man in the major leagues for the first time in his career, 23-year-old David Maxey.
David Maxey has a record of 2-0 and has not given up a earned run yet. He is appearing for the 7th time, 5 innings, 3 hits. The one thing you want to watch, he's got 6 walks and 1 strikeout. So it looks like this young man may have a pitch that gets down and out of the strike zone. Make him get into the strike zone. He did appear Tuesday night, walking 1 2/3 of an inning. As recalled May 26th from the Toledo Mud Hens.
He appeared in 12 games for Toledo. He was 0-1 with a 3.07 ERA at Toledo. Last year he pitched at Trenton and Toledo. The first pitch to Jim Thome is inside for a ball. But most of the season at Toledo, he was 2-3 with 3 saves and a nifty 1.62 ERA. He was drafted out of the University of Mississippi in 1992. So we go from the lefty number 16 to the righty number 15. And Jim Thome is grounded out, popped up, and struck out. Low and inside.
There you go. Make him get it in that strike zone. Looks like he's got a good sinker. Keeps the ball down. Make him get it up. I'm sure right now Jim Thome, even though he has hit a couple home runs, 3-0 this year, will be taking. Looking for base runners.
We told you so. That's Cleveland Indians baseball at a fever pitch. Thanks very much for reliving some of the outstanding moments with us right here on Sports Channel's special hot stove edition of Tribe Take Two. See you next week, everyone.
This has been a presentation of Sports Channel, a tradition of excellence and innovation in regional sports television.
Ball sure is.